Hi, this is Dr. Lori Baudino, and we're here with live moving moments with Coach Derek.
Hello.
And today's my first interview, and I'm so excited to be with Coach Derek. So here's our questions. So the first question is, if you had a question today, what was something that you asked today? Waking up in the morning, something you asked of other people, anything?
Well, today in particular,
Yeah.
we have I have my admin staff meeting on Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
So during my meditation, I asked the universe to help me listen better to my staff. That tends to be a problem.
Such an important question. I didn't know what you were going to say. That's a really important question. Yeah, so there's this scientist, and he says that his mother asked him every day, what question did you ask today? So this idea that we have to keep asking questions. And our kids are amazing at it, right? Kids are. So thinking of kids, as a kid, what kind of things did you get into? How did you play? How did you move as a kid? What did you get into?
Oh, well, my dad was the local t-ball coach in the community. So what I ended up doing was I started playing t-ball at the age of 4. And I didn't put it down until 24.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then today, as an adult, is there something that you do for yourself? Mindfulness, movement, exercise, stuff for your body, speaking to the universe, you said?
Oh, absolutely. Obviously, my meditation on a daily basis is literally a game changer for me. And also exercise. I have to exercise, so I've been doing some CrossFit. I meant to tell you about that. Yeah.
I've been trying to force him to get me into more working out. It's easier to talk about movement in the body, but hard to do for yourself.
It is when you're constantly, on the go, and obviously with you and family and everything, I can't imagine that challenge.
Yeah. So if you, how would you tell the listeners here about your philosophy as a coach or working with children or sports? Is there like a philosophy that you strive for, that you tell your coaches or your families?
Absolutely. Obviously the first thing that came to mind was, we coach to teach. Mm-hmm. We don't coach to win. Mm-hmm. Winning will come, but it's just not important when you're starting off. It doesn't mean we shy away from competition, but what it does mean is we kind of turn it to how can you get better as an individual versus the scoreboard. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to care what your record was when you were 8.
Right. And I like that because, I know you and I have talked a lot, and our listeners are meeting us together for the first time, but kind of like this idea that our children get motivated by learning and experiencing the game in such a fun way.
Absolutely.
It's so exciting.
It's got to stay fun, or else they're going to lose interest.
Right.
I mean, who wouldn't, right? And it's up to us as coaches to figure out how to get them some success, right? And that starts with learning.
That's great.
Right.
So my philosophy is a lot about this idea of body knowledge, how important the body and understanding our body is in terms of our emotions and mental health, learning, academics, physical health. How do you think movement in the body plays into whether it's your life or your work? How important is it? What do you think about that in terms of body and movement?
I think, it is literally as basic for me to notice how when I'm sitting, my shoulders are up, right?
Right.
And just being conscious of that and just lowering my shoulders in that much more relaxed position.
Right.
Movement, it really does, a rolling stone gathers no moss. It really does come down to that, right? So
I've never heard that one.
Yeah, you got to keep moving. I think it might have been, I'm not going to, it was a quote, it wasn't mine. I know that.
That's right.
And I can tell just within my own body, like when I neglect working out, when I neglect the long walks with my dog, as opposed to the quick 10-minute, I just feel worse. Mentally, emotionally, I start to go down. So when those endorphins are flying and popping off, I just feel better.
Right.
and it kind of spills into the next day.
Right, and I think that's so important. It's so wonderful to have you be this person that's able to look at yourself. And then in terms of like your kids and the coaching, how do you use the body in terms of looking at them in terms of how to see if a kid's getting it or understanding the work or relating to another child? Does that play into it, or is it more the verbal piece?
No, I think it's both.
Okay.
I think it's incumbent upon us as coaches to recognize the children, because obviously we do it in a class setting, right? So it's up to us to see the child that's kind of moving to the back. Why are they moving to the back? Is it because they don't know what's going on, or is it something in their mind that's telling them that they can't do the actual activity or task at hand? So it's important that we see that we notice the body language, we notice the lack of movement, so that we can kind of hone in on that. Because if everyone's not moving forward, then we as coaches are doing something wrong. So it's up to us to take the group from point A to point B, and notice the children that might be struggling.
Right. I love that. So, kind of wrapping up, is there a takeaway? Any message that you'd want to leave the listeners with for today?
My running...
I'm already laughing. I don't even know why.
My running tagline is, if you love your children, sign them up for CoachDerek.com. But I'm not going to do that.
He didn't even pay me for anything.
I guess my parting take would be, if you're a parent, try your best to leave your expectations at home, and try not to compare your child to others. As easy as that might be to fall into, it's doing your child a disservice. Right.
And I look at that a lot in my work in terms of our own expectations. What's our stuff? What's the kids' stuff?
Exactly.
It's kind of endless evolving, right? Endless work that we get to do. That is kind of my final thought, was like this idea of like, how do we continue to evolve? So I really like that idea of lowering the expectations. No comparisons. Easier said than done.
It is.
But you constantly evolving in that way as well?
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I try not to have any expectations. I try to show up, do the best that I can, and let the results kind of play out the way they're going to play out.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
And I sleep better.
Right. Well, thank you for talking with me. Hopefully you all have okay expectations on our talk. Is that the right way to say that?
I would.
It's our first one, right? So look into us, follow us, and hopefully we'll get more time to talk with you all. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.